Coming up this week on Ralph and Vicki's Archer's Choice.
We had deer literally every sit. Every sit we've had deer here. And I'm telling you, again, like we've always said, J&M Whitetails, Kansas. Right here, look at, see? The real deal. The real deal.
Oh, Vic, check it out. Is this guy gonna be a stud or what? Look at that. Great, look at, nice 10.
That's
Is he
really nice.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. This guy's already a stud. He's got a really nice kicker. Oh, wait, he's a 10 too. Look how nice that is. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Hey, you know what? We love walking around looking for sheds, messing around with each other, but this week we're gonna head to Kansas.
We're heading to Kansas to Steve Freeze and the family because I'm gonna tell you something. This is a place we are gonna return year after year, huh?
Yep, J&M Whitetails.
Yep.
That's what we're gonna go.
Yes.
Sure.
Near Granola.
Yep.
Granola,
Joey
Kansas.
and Mason and everyone else.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
I
a
mean,
blast. We had so much fun there.
You know what's really cool is this is not an operate. They're not trying to put numbers through. They're trying to keep it small and keep the quality up, which is
awesome. So, hey, I'm Vicki.
And I'm Ralph.
And this is the Archer's Choice.
And I got
so
shed envy.
Why'd you throw it over there? I'll go get it. I'll have two. You can have none. Hey, do you think it's a match set? No, not quite, huh?
Hey guys, as you know, in fall especially, we're traveling back and forth. We're never home, but we came right from Wyoming. Vicki had a great elk hunt with, with her Browning.
Right.
And right here to Steve.
Yeah, I mean, in the rain, everything. We go right from Wyoming through the rain to Kansas. We are almost to camp with J&M Whitetails in Kansas here, and they got hit with an ice storm yesterday. And the road is fine, but the amount of ice on the side of the road and in the grass and on the plants is insane.
We actually lost a day of our hunt due to the weather. So when we got there, it was still raining. We still had to unpack and do everything we had to do, but we, because of the weather, well, that's what happens in the fall. When Steven had the kids,
They are so sweet. His boys are so cute. And I'm sitting there and we were playing games, and I made up a game because they were fighting over those little coins. I was making like a bank game or something off the stool. It was a lot of fun.
Open the bank.
Oh, the bank's time to open it.
I'll open it.
Okay, open it up for me. Oh, the bank's open. Do I put my money in it?
Hunting with Ralph and Vicki's been a blast. I grew up watching them on TV, and it's been great to have them in camp. They're just the same off camera as what I thought they were going to be like watching them on camera all them years. They're a blast. They're funny. They were cracking up and laughing the whole time. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't give my life up for anything. God's blessed me, and I'm right where I want to be and right where He wants me at.
Operating on over 16,000 acres of long-term, privately leased, highly managed prime habitat, J&M Whitetails focuses on growing and managing some of the largest free-range fair chase whitetails. And Ralph and Vicki couldn't be more excited for their first day in the stand.
Well, it's our first afternoon here at J&M Whitetail Outfitters. Steve just dropped us off. It's going to be a breezy afternoon. They've had ice, they've had rain, there's mud, but it's our first day out, so let's go see what we can have happen.
I got to tell you, Eddie and I got in the stands, and Steve brought us in, and right off the get-go, we were in the right place at the right time. We had deer piling in, and if you were going there, you know, to try to get a mature deer, the opportunities were endless.
Meanwhile, Vicki is in a stand outside the woods along a river bottom, with deer activity already on the rise.
First afternoon sit out, we're sitting in an area. Steven knows, you know, he's like, there's a good buck around here. I'm hoping that he's gonna show up for you. I know you guys are gonna feel like you're out on the edge there, but it's gonna work out great. We got set up, we had some smaller deer, some smaller, younger bucks come walking through. And right at like prime time, we had this beautiful buck. I know it's the one Steven was telling us about.
Chad, there's a shooter buck behind us.
Except for he stopped with a hot doe behind me, behind a big tree, so I could barely peek on him. Chad, the camera guy, couldn't see him at all. All he could do was see the doe. You know, this is my life. This is my hunting season. But Steven did put me in the right spot.
As darkness begins to set in, the buck makes its way around to the front of the stand, but is far out of archery range.
Now he's walking to the right again. He's running. Oh my gosh. We got out here this afternoon. We had a small fork come in, a young fork come in, a bunch of does and little ones. And then just now, right as the sun went down, I look over at my shoulder in the thicket here that I don't have a shot, and there was just a big buck standing there. He went back with his doe, went down. Chad had no idea what was going on. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't get up. I didn't have a shot anyways. Anyways, he fouled his doe down below here. Chad got him down further away, but at one point he was within 50 yards of us, but I had no shot. Steve said that I can come back here tomorrow. We're gonna pack a lunch and we're gonna sit all day because you know that doe is gonna want to come back up and around here, so he's a stud. Oh my gosh. That was awesome. First afternoon here at J&M Whitetail. Yes!
Before sunrise, deer are already passing by the stand, making the coming sit look quite promising. The Cianciarulos have always based their hunting tactics heavily on the wind, a critical variable, especially for the whitetail hunter. Some of the impressive features in the Basemap smartphone app have made strategizing for their whitetail hunt effortless.
One of the really cool things about Basemap that they added last year was their Huntwood application on it, where you can go ahead and you can drop the hunt wind marker on your stand, and it's going to tell you for the next 24 hours how that wind is going to be blowing, and it will show you the direction, so you can look directly right on your map and see where that wind is blowing to, and you'll know if that stand is going to be good for that next day's hunt.
You got to remember with Steve is whether you're on trails, near bedding areas, near feeding areas, or actually, you know, where he supplemental feeds. I mean, the bottom line here, you're gonna have deer around you. So you really, really gotta be careful, because a lot of these times you have multiple eyes and ears and noses to try to beat.
Still hopeful from yesterday's encounter with the distant shooter buck, Vicki is optimistic to be in the same area and has her eyes peeled.
The next day we sat in the same stand figuring, hey, you know what, why not? We're gonna stay out here and we're gonna, hopefully this hot doe is gonna bring this big guy in front of us. He didn't. We had a bunch of smaller bucks again, a bunch of younger bucks coming through. Steven wants us to wait, he wants us to shoot a mature buck, so we're waiting on that mature buck to come back through.
I remember one evening, you know, Eddie and I are up in the stand and we look, and here comes this really nice mature buck, and I'm like heeing and hawing, thinking, you know, it's early in the hunt. What are you doing? You've all been there. And I was like, And as I probably should have just let that hoit do what it does, I held back a little bit, and the next thing I heard Eddie say, it's getting low light.
They're telling me they're seeing a lot of deer. It's just been getting that mature deer in front of them during shooting time and when they had camera light.
You know, at that time of year, you better be prepared and grunting and rattling, and had the 7-point. You could tell it, he was a bruiser. Well, he had left, and you know, we heard some more noise way off in the distance. I hit the antlers again, and sure enough, that 7 comes right back in. He wanted to go.
One heck of a morning. It was awesome. Every sit so far, we have had deer all in like crazy. I think we found our new Kansas home.
Meanwhile, Vicki is continuing to see a substantial amount of activity. Because whitetail deer numbers have increased significantly in the past 20 years, they can be found virtually statewide, wherever suitable habitat exists. Accordingly, whitetails have adapted well to Kansas's modern landscape, and the selective management program has created a healthy deer herd with excellent potential for well-matured bucks in all regions.
So we had a lot of activity straight up from dark in. Had deer walking all around us. Heck, we had to have over a dozen does and yearlings. We had 4 little bucks walking around us. Did not get to see one of the shooters, one of the mature bucks, but we had lots of activity.
The moon this week's actually been real tough on us. We've had a spotlight in the sky in the like all night long. Got Ralph and Vicki haven't had to walk in with a flashlight or walk out with a flashlight. It's been shining bright, and I think the deer have been on their feet all night long, running and feeding, and it just made the daylight movement a little tough.
Steven moved us to a different stand. He said, you guys are gonna check this one out. I think you're gonna be good with this one. Please just have faith in me. And you know, J&M Whitetail Outfitters, we know you got our back. We're gonna do what you tell us to do because we don't guide the guide.
It's now day 4 of the 5-day hunt at J&M, and Ralph and Vicki are hoping to make something happen. Evening is approaching, and that means prime time for deer movement. And Ralph doesn't have to wait long until something extraordinary catches his eye.
Okay, well, I text Big S for Big Steve, and he come right in, man. And I'm going to tell you, we're here in Kansas. We had deer every sit. Every sit we've had deer here. And I'm telling you, again, like we've always said, J&M Whitetails, Kansas. Right here, look at, see? The real deal. The real deal. Look at all that. Spitfire, baby. Oh, baby. There. There, he ran right through. We heard branches snapping.
Look at that spray.
Look at this right here.
That's why I shoot an AP.
Yeah, baby. Here's the arrowhead. Ooh. Look at that. There he is. Guys, there he is right there. Stevie!
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Look at this guy. Is he funky or what? Look at this. Look at that deer. Is that cool or what?
That's SJ.
Huh?
That's SJ.
Oh my gosh. You gotta. This is what you go for. You go for crazy stuff. And this guy, oh man, look at that Spitfire. Well, what do you say? You know, Steve, that is a buck that just trips my trigger, huh?
That's awesome.
Look at those bases. I can't, but when I saw his bases, I was like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they got 120 inches on their head or they got 180 inches on their head. You pull a 5-year-old plus deer, you've done your job.
Well, you've done the job, buddy. You put us in the right spots. And again, I'm telling you, you know, J&M Whitetails here in Kansas, this is our first year, and I can tell you right now, if he'll have us back, we'll be here every time we draw because this is the real deal.
So the deer Ralph shot this year, we had named SJ for Seagram's Jr. He was offspring of one of the deer that I shot last year, and we've been keeping up with him for the past 2 or 3 years, had him on camera, and happy to see Ralph shoot him. He's a great old deer, and he's been quite a warrior here around the ridges.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get my hand around that base.
Yeah.
Beautiful, big old mature buck, huh?
Yeah.
Now that Ralph has an incredibly unique Kansas buckdown with enormous bases, Vicki is in the stand for her final sit.
So my operation is not anything about numbers. We try to keep it small, keep it family feel here. We don't run big numbers, and when you get here, you're gonna feel like family. I got a lot of ground. I know what it takes to be successful and to kill mature deer every year, and that's what we work for and strive for.
The last day in my hunt, we got set up in a different stand. He said there's plenty of deer coming around here. You should have no problem finding a buck. We had plenty of deer coming through. We had an armadillo behind us in the ground. We had quail while we were there. There was just lots of activity in the stand. Had a really nice young buck come in. He bedded down in front of us. I'm like, come on. We did see a decent buck, a good mature buck later in the evening, but never came in and gave me a shot. All in all, Steven, the whole family, you guys at J&M Whitetail Outfitters, we can't thank you enough for having us and just everything that you do. You guys are awesome, and we can't wait to get back. Hey, congratulations.
I'm going to tell you something. That buck tripped my trigger. You know,
Yeah.
Eddie and I were up there and
Tripped your trigger.
tripped, and I could say that without stuttering. You know, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden we look up over, and we see some does, you know, being pushed in, and I spot him, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Did you see the mass?
I know, and he's got those really crinkly looking, I don't know, is it crinkly? Would that be a good word for it? They're like goofy looking antlers. He's old.
Oh my, gnarly, honey, gnarly.
Crinkly, gnarly. Same difference. I'm not a valley girl.
Oh.
Hey, we appreciate everyone out there. Steven, the whole family, you guys are amazing. J&M Whitetail Outfitters, thank you so much for having us out there in Kansas. We plan on coming back again, and we hope you enjoyed this week's Archer's Choice. We'll see you next week, same time.
Same channel.
Right here.
On the Archer's Choice.
So when did you become a valley girl? Gnarly. Gnarly? It's gnarly, dude.
Oh,
I like
my
crinkly or
gosh,
wiggly.
no more coffee.
Or crinkly, wiggly, gnarly. They're gnarly. Oh my gosh!